Oh yes, we have to accept it, don't we?
Accept it. Yeah, there we are.
2 seconds. I just need to enlarge. Where are we? Yes, got it. There we go.
So welcome everybody to Clear Eye, Clear Mind. So this meeting is being recorded, as you've just seen, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. Please turn off your video if you're uncomfortable with being recorded. If anyone wishes to discuss any sensitive issues during our Q&A and you don't want it to be uploaded to YouTube, please just tell us beforehand. And we can edit that out of our recording, so this can stay a really safe space for you. I think we're just going to keep everyone as interactive as possible, so please do feel free to interact with Odette during the event. You can post questions via the chat facility. You will have the opportunity to ask questions later in the Q&A too. Please do not post any links or images on the chat, or you will be removed from the meeting. Just a reminder that we are active on social media. Please follow us at ARCC Ltd on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube if you're not already following us. So today's workshop with Odette Betterell, Clear Eye, Clear Mind, is part of our Here to Talk initiative by ARCC to raise awareness of mental health issues in the Asian and Croydon communities. Our aim is to bring mental health topics to everyday conversations without having a stigma attached to it. This is so that we have an understanding of science to account for the most common issues faced by our community and our loved ones. We can all become a champion for our families, friends, and our colleagues. So I'll just introduce Odette very, very quickly. So Odette is a Croydon resident, currently working for Croydon Vision, which is based in Bedford Hall on Wellesley Road. She is known as a community dynamo. She talks to many groups in Croydon about eye health and supports people who have lost their sight or losing their sight. She supports them to adopt emotionally and practically to life as a blind or partially sighted person, with her Living with Sight Loss course. She also delivers visual awareness workshops to help businesses, organizations, employers to understand how best to support customers, clients, colleagues, or family members who are partially sighted or blind. So Odette, can I just ask you to take over now, please?
Yes, of course, yes. So thank you very much for inviting me to talk to the group today. And what I wanted to do is to share with you a little bit my story of starting off as a totally sighted person, becoming visually impaired, how it's affected myself, my family, people around me, and how I kind of then learned to cope with it in a sense, and share with you a little bit my own coping strategies. And I as Bina said, I deliver these living with sight loss courses because it is one of the kind of scariest thing. I think if you ask people, what are you most scared of? And people often say it's becoming blind, because it is really scary to suddenly lose your sight, or even lose it bit by bit. And often people find themselves in a situation where they really don't know what to do. And so this is, and I wanted to talk a little bit about eye health as well. And if we have the time, we'll do a few eye yoga exercises as well. So that can be quite fun too. So how this happened to me. So I'm French, you might hear a bit of my accent. And I came to London in the 80s. And I was a student, living life and starting to work as well. And I started to saw little sparkles in front of my eyes. And I thought, ooh, that's the pollution, the air, the water, it's London. Maybe I'm stressed. I wasn't quite sure. And then bit by bit, I couldn't see signs, I couldn't see things. And I went to see the GP, and he referred me to St. Thomas's Hospital, to the eye department there. And they test after test, they finally diagnosed that I had Stargardt's disease. And that's a bit like macular degeneration. You lose the center of your vision. And I really, I wasn't expecting that. You know, nothing had prepared me to become, if you want, visually impaired, to become disabled. And I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to live my life? And suddenly, you know, when you're young, you have a bit of a idea of maybe how you want to live your life and what you want to do with your life. And suddenly it was, oh, I won't be able to drive. Oh, I won't be able to do this. Oh, I won't be able to do that. And suddenly it's like I've lost my personal dreams about my future, about myself. And I didn't know what to replace it with, because in my family, nobody was visually impaired. I had no visually impaired friends. I had never met a blind person. I just didn't know how to live life like this. And at the hospital, they said, oh, well, there's no treatment for your condition. There's nothing we can do about it. And there's no point in you coming back. Full stop. Nobody told me anything. So I said, oh, well, what can I do? And I'm quite a positive person. So I think, oh, well, in London, there's a lot of free things. There's free concerts. I can walk around Camden Town. I can go to festivals. I was trying to sort of imagine myself a life of being on benefits and not being able to do anything. And so I was quite scared as well, because obviously, why does this happen to me? Why me? And of course, well, Stargardt's disease is genetic, so both parents need to have the defective gene for it to declare itself, so to speak. But nothing had prepared me in my childhood or in my young adult life to kind of cope and to know what to do. And it's really, one day I was talking to, oh yes, and then I was living in Southwark then, and then the sensory team came and said, oh, here's a white cane, here are dark glasses, here's a talking watch, and here's a little device to know when your cup of tea is hot. So when the water comes up, it touches the metal and it goes buzz, it buzzes. And that was it. And I thought, well, I've kind of lived so long, okay, what can they teach me? What can they tell me? And I didn't really engage with them. I didn't really know what to do. And somebody said to me, oh, did you know there's this school where you can learn how to use a computer if you're visually impaired, but it's down in Sevenoaks. So Sevenoaks is, you know, quite some way away, and it's a boarding school. And I was in my mid-30s then, and I wasn't quite sure, you know, how would I cope being with blind people, disabled people, and I didn't quite identify myself at that stage as being a disabled person. I didn't really know what it meant to be a disabled person. It just sounded like a horrible tag, a horrible title. I really had no clue at all. And so I kind of in the end said, okay, well, if there are courses for computers for blind people, that means they can use them, you know, as a kind of a logical thing. So I thought, okay, yes, I want to go, and I was then a dance teacher. So I was teaching dance in primary schools and nurseries and secondary school. And at that stage, I couldn't see the students anymore. If they said, Miss, do I put my hand like this or my foot like that? I just didn't see it. So I obviously needed to kind of change career as well. And so I decided to go to this blind school in Dorton. It was called Dorton College. And there for the first time, I met other disabled people. And It was fine. They were just normal people, you know. We had fun. We went to the pub together. We went to college together, and they did all the kind of things that ordinary people do, you know. They had fun. They ate. They slept. They had conversations, and they listened to music, and they went on holidays. So it was just me kind of finding out about all this and finding how to cope. What are the solutions, you know? So, for example, if you can't see cars and you want to cross the road, what do you do? So at the pedestrian traffic light, if you press the button to get the green man, underneath the box, there's actually a metal cone that twirls round and round when the man is green. So I learned that at Dalton College, going out with the other students. And then somebody said I was having problems in the supermarket. So putting my credit card into the reader, I couldn't see the numbers to do my PIN. And somebody said, hey, Odette, did you know on number 5, there's always a little lump, a little bump. And you can try it out for yourself as well. And then once you figure out where number 5 is, you can work out where the other numbers are. And all of these things I've kind of learned bit by bit. Then I learned there was Metro Blind Sport, an organization that does sport for visually impaired people. So then I joined them and I started to be active again and to do to play blind tennis, to go wall climbing and swimming, and to I now have a tandem, so I ride the bicycle with my husband in front. And so this is kind of also what Croydon Vision does, is that we kind of show people who become visually impaired or blind, and to kind of teach them so how to cope. What are all the gadgets, the electronic things, how to use your mobile phone if you can't see, how to do this and how to do that. There's a talking microwave, how to cook, all the tips and the tricks to help you maybe even go find work or go on holiday, have hobbies. And I think one of the kind of most difficult thing is to make people around you understand a bit what you're going through, a bit what you are, what you see, what you don't see, when you need help and when you don't need help. And I think all these emotions that you get, they sometimes say it's a bit like grieving, like a loss, because you lose, if you want, the ability to do something in a certain way, and you lose your dreams about yourself. So you have to, some people get really angry, some people really depressed, some people, good days, bad days as well. And, you know, one of the things is going down the street holding a white cane is really, really hard. You feel that everybody's looking at you, you feel embarrassed. And some people even feel like they're like a target for muggers, and people are going to feel that they're weak and you know, they're going to be kind of jumped upon. And so it's a very difficult thing to go down the street with a white cane. But at the same time, if you need help, the white cane helps people understand that you can't see, and they're more likely to kind of help you. And another thing we look at is how it affects your family, because it doesn't just affect you, it also obviously affects your husband or your wife or your children, and suddenly they don't know what you can see, what you can't do, how to help you. They feel that suddenly they have all the responsibility of the family on their shoulders. Suddenly it's like you can't do anything. But you know, if you become disabled suddenly for any reason, it's not like you're a different person. You still have all your knowledge, your skills, what you've learned before. You don't suddenly lose everything. So it's kind of making people around you understand that. And it is hard. I won't, you know, I can't pretend it's not hard. And I don't know if this kind of story resonates with people you might know or not. But helping somebody who's become visually impaired is actually not doing everything for them, because although it kind of is nice and it makes things faster and maybe safer, it means that suddenly I can't do it and I can't learn how to do it in a different way or at my own speed. So I'd rather try and do things myself, and then if I come to the point that I can't, then ask for help. So it's kind of, that's another thing we try and do at Croydon Vision, is to talk to the family as well, is that don't do everything for the person you're caring for, but help them learn to do things in maybe a different way. Maybe they need a bit more time, maybe I need a bit more light, maybe I need just one little bit. Sometimes if I have a new recipe, I might ask my husband to just find it in the recipe book because it's just faster, and then I say, oh, can you just read it once, and then afterwards I go and look for the other bits with my magnifier. So it's kind of finding a balance between staying independent, doing things for yourself, and then have people help you. But you wouldn't, I would not like to have somebody say, oh, sit down in this chair, I'll do everything for you, because in that, it's nice, but it's not nice, because it kind of makes me disabled, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I just, at this stage, maybe if anybody wants to ask any questions or have any comments. Anybody?
Yeah, Mamli wants to ask a question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mamli.
It's your hearing sharper than it used to be? Your hearing, or the sense of hearing, does it develop, or is it the same and is it sharper?
It's a good question. Actually, they did some studies, and really the ear itself as the ear doesn't change. But what happens is that you concentrate, you notice sounds more. It's like you're focusing, you're using your ears better. Your ears don't get better, but probably your brain is using more the information that your ears capture, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so the optic nerve is affected in the impairment of the vision, but
so it depends. Yeah, so that depends which eye condition you have. The eye is quite a complex thing. It's got liquid in it. It's got it's the eyelashes, the front of the eye, the iris, the pupil. It's got the macula. So it depends which bit of your eye is affected, which condition you have, whether your optic nerve is affected or not. So in my condition, for example, the optic nerve is not affected. But if somebody, say, would have a condition like glaucoma, where you have a lot of eye pressure, the pressure is actually affecting the optic nerve. So it really, the cataract, for example, does not affect the optic nerve. So it kind of depends which bit of the eye is affected.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Yes, hi Ode. I would just like to say thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing. I would never have known if you had not shared your story, but it's amazing how you lived your life and how you're living your life. It's just like, it's great strength.
Thank you.
Also I can share my story. My mother, actually, my late mother had cataract, but I always knew that she had cataract because I was one of the youngest child. I never knew her any other different. And looking back now, I think it didn't really affect her life as much. But we did kind of take the piss sometimes, thinking that she can't see everything. And I feel really bad now, but she used to wear these thick glasses, and she had an operation as well to correct it.
Yeah.
But it just didn't really correct it. She just had to still use glasses for her life.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like, wow, it's amazing how I never thought, but she was a very intelligent woman. I never knew anything, like her life didn't really change, if it makes sense. She was actually more intelligent, like how Mamli said that the hearing does, she used to hear everything. So
she's paying attention.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So it wasn't like we could get away with anything anyway. So I was like, wow, amazing.
Yeah, it's something that if babies are born with cataracts, they need to be operated quite soon. Otherwise, it's like the optic nerve doesn't develop. So even if you're operated later in life, if you're in the early life, if the baby's sort of optic nerve hasn't had the chance to develop, then it's kind of too late in a sense. It's not that you can't see at all, but you don't see as sharp as you could have if you had been operated when you were little.
Yeah, because she had it after my birth of my brother, so I was before my brother, and it was my youngest brother. And my sisters mentioned that she had cataract or had eye problems straight after the birth or something. Before that, she was fine. So it was in later life, definitely. So it was quite. But I never knew her any other different way. So it brings it home. Yeah, thank you for sharing this.
And you find your ways of coping. You find, I don't go every day thinking, oh, I'm visually impaired. I have days where it's fine. I don't even think about it. I just live my life. And then you have days where you feel a bit more emotional about it, or maybe sometimes something happens, like maybe your car nearly ran over you, or you didn't see a bicycle. Or maybe you missed a friend in the street, you didn't say hello to them. If something happens, then you kind of get reminded, and it can bring you down. But most days, I just live my life. I don't really think about it.
Amazing.
But it takes a bit of time to adapt. It took me a good 10 years to really feel more at ease with it. And I suppose living in London, there's a lot of free things. There's a lot of public transport. I think if I was out in the countryside, for example, where my parents live, there's one bus a week. So I wouldn't be able to live there because I wouldn't have no transport.
Yeah. I remember Mum used to always take us with her. She never went anywhere alone. That's all I know. But I didn't realize that how it can impact your life as well.
But if one of the kind of the eye message I try, also the eye health messages I say, is that people think about having checkups at the dentist, having maybe checkups at the GP, your blood pressure, this and that. But very few people would have had checkups with their eyes unless they feel that they can't see so well anymore. And yet there are things like your eye pressure, glaucoma, that has very few symptoms. You wouldn't really realize it until you've already lost some of your sight. And so to have, especially if you have people in your family that have glaucoma, or you can have a free NHS eye test just to check that you are not developing high eye pressure.
And you know where where we have the eye test every 2 years, or at the eye test place. So does that cover it? I'm sure it does. I think they do eye pressure as well.
As long as they do eye pressure, that's good.
Okay. So
and because the thing with glaucoma, I mean, what's amazing with glaucoma is that there are treatments. You can take your eye drops. They can release the pressure with a little valve. So there's several things they can do. But if you don't do anything, you could become totally blind. Okay. So that's why it's like so important. If you catch it early, you can treat it. So that's really important to bear in mind. So especially if you have like close family, like your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your aunts and your uncles. If anybody has high eye pressure, glaucoma, it is really good to have the test. Also, if you're diabetic, if you have diabetes, it's really important to check your eyes as well.
Yeah, no problem.
So oops, sorry, I have to, my mobile phone is ringing, sorry. There we go. Oh, this technology, sorry about that. I'll put it low. Another thing that I also wanted to sort of mention is that there's also some foods that are quite good for your eyes. So oily fish is really good for your eyes, like salmon, sardine, mackerels. Dark green vegetables, so like beans, broccoli, kale is especially good for your eyes. If you have macular degeneration, or if you have people in your family who have macular degeneration, any vegetables and fruits that are red, yellow, or orange are really good for your eyes. So beetroots, mangoes, pumpkins, tomatoes, carrots, all those vegetables, and the dark green ones are very good. So just eat a little bit more, and it can actually slow down the onset of macular degeneration. So that's something good to think about. Another thing is to protect your eyes. It's really important to put sunglasses, and you don't need to put like very dark sunglasses. You just need to make sure that they have UV protection, so they're protecting your eyes against some of the sun's rays. And to also protect your eyes when perhaps you do DIY, because sometimes things jump, if it's glue, if it's nails, a lot of accidents, a lot of people have accidents with DIY. And also if you're always frying food and you get little spits of oil in your eyes, you know, so if you know you're going to fry something and you don't wear glasses, you might want to, you know what, I'm going to put, sort of just clear plain plastic glasses over my eyes just to protect them. That can be, it can really save bits of your eyes, because if you think about cooking and you do it every day of your life, it's a lot of cooking. And if every time you get a little spit of boiling oil in your eye, it might not hurt you that much, but if it over the years, so something to just bear in mind. And when you open a pot, of steaming, boiling water, because you're cooking, you want to check to see if the food is cooking. Wait till the first steam goes away before you look, so you don't get a woof of really hot steam in your eyes, because that's not too good either. And we don't think about those things, you don't think about covering your eyes when you cook. And it's something to bear in mind, to sort of think about those things. So I think anybody wants to add something at this point?
Yeah, this is a great reminder, because we have like Ramadan coming up, so we fry samosas and whatnot. So it's actually, I didn't think of that. It's a really good reminder. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Odette, for all your good tips. It's amazing, isn't it? Because you don't really think about like the DIY stuff or the cooking. It's brilliant. So Odette, can I just ask you, like, what's the one of the best things that has happened to you as a partially sighted person when you're interacting with people, when you're interacting with the public?
I think that I think that I have found people really helpful. Once I overcome my own fear and my own embarrassment of asking for help, I find that I had very, very, very few negative experiences. And I think it's since I have my white cane and I dare to use it and don't feel too embarrassed. The staff of London Underground and London Transport have been so helpful. And of course, it's their job to be, but they have been extra kind, and I think that it makes you feel that there's a lot of good people around, and that's made London more friendly for me and not so I don't know, you know, when you go in a big city and you don't know people, you just don't know if people are going to be nice or nasty or whatever. And so to have people being friendly and helping you and in a kind and nice way, I think that's been great.
It's more about overcoming sort of our kind of embarrassment, like you said,
Yes.
isn't it? And anxiety of like how
Yes.
people are going to behave towards you. I mean,
and a lot of it, yeah, a lot of it is in your head.
Have you had any bad experiences at all?
I've had experiences where I've asked for help and people would say, oh, can't you see it's up there? And even having the white cane, and then they go, oh yes, oh, you have a white cane, you know. Or people in the queue and I can't see the change, the money I'm giving. I'm slower than most people, and to be honest, I don't always have my cane, and people going, you know, sort of, you can hear they're impatient, and that is kind of stressful. Another thing is me actually not recognizing people. So either I don't say hello to somebody, or I start talking to somebody and I'm still wondering, who are you? And I'm at the stage where and people sometimes feel, oh, you didn't say hello to me. I said, well, yeah, I didn't know who you, I didn't recognize you. And partly is people forget I'm visually impaired because they can't really see it. So I get that, but it's like, yes, I think it's the social interaction that is the worst. When you're talking to somebody, you can't be spontaneous because you actually don't know who they are. So you have to kind of wait a bit, and then you feel, oh, the moment has passed, and oh, do I say hello? Do I don't? And it's all that social interaction. I think that is the one of the, you know, the hardest thing.
So can I just ask what Croydon Vision does to kind of alleviate that? Because it's obviously an awareness thing, isn't it? Because if I see somebody that's kind of like taking their time, I'm probably like, oh, come on, you know, as well in a queue. Do you know what I mean? When you're waiting for ages, but then, you know, if there's no kind of visible signs for me to kind of know that somebody has a visual impairment, like how do we kind of, you know, what's the awareness thing for somebody like, you know, me, just the Joe public?
So we do, as you mentioned before, we do visual awareness training. So the visual awareness training can really be for anybody. It can be for businesses. I've done some workshops with the children at the Royal Russell School. I've done workshops for the GPs, for staff at GP surgeries in Croydon. And I've been doing them also across London for years. And it's about, so how do blind people or visually impaired people see the world? So we have these different glasses that we put on, that if you had glaucoma, or if you had a cataract, if you had a stroke, if you had like me, Stargardt's disease or macular degeneration, and you kind of put those glasses on, and it kind of gives you a bit of an idea how somebody might see the world. Because that's the problem with visual impairment, is that there's so many different conditions and people see the world in all different ways. And so you can't find one solution that's going to help everybody. And so, and then we kind of think about, so how do people become visually impaired? And then we talk about, so what are the solutions? And sometimes it's, well, if you have a dark carpet in a reception room and you have dark chairs, a visually impaired person will never know where the chairs are. But if you change the color of the chairs, or if you put white pillow, but no cushions on them, there's more chance they'll see. So it's kind of thinking about color contrast. Maybe documents, instead of having documents in small print, you might want to put things in larger print, or signs. So there are things you can do to help everybody in some sense, because you can see it clearer and bigger and bolder. And then we teach people how to guide a blind person. And it's kind of workshops where you're kind of allowed to ask any questions about blind people, not to feel embarrassed, because like me, most people have never met a blind person, have never spoken to a blind person. So it's kind of, in a sense, getting the fear away from both sides in a way. So we do those workshops, but in the end, a person is a person. So we always say, talk to the person. They can tell you how they want to be helped. I think that's the key. The key is not to force help on people. Sometimes blind people say that somebody from the public grabs their arm and crosses them across the street before even asking if they wanted to cross the street. or if you imagine suddenly you're in the dark and suddenly somebody grabs your arm. You haven't even seen them come. You haven't even had a hello, how are you? Or do you need any help? So it's all those communication and interaction that we kind of look at in the workshops. Does that make sense? Yeah.
It does make sense. It's an awareness thing, isn't it? It's like my uncle. So ever since I've grown up, he's always been blind. So but he's able to do everything for himself, and money, all of that stuff he can do. And for us, it's just normal. So we help him when he needs. We adapt the house to whatever he needs, and what have you. But it was really weird, because when his girls got married, people were coming to the house, like their friends and college friends, and who didn't really know my uncle. So they were coming and they were like, oh, he's blind, and like it was such a novelty, and we were like. But it was really weird for us. It was just normal, because he's always been blind.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? But people just like, oh God, and they start talking slower to them, and whatever. And you're like, no, he can hear. He understands. It's all good. It's just like it's really weird. But because you've always known that, that he's a blind, it's just normal. But you just adapt, the lifestyle, what have you. Yeah.
I think you said the right word. I think that's what we try to do, is to make visual awareness and blindness a normal thing, and that's you've become visually impaired. Well, it's normal. There's a lot of people like you to try and normalize it a little bit. And I think once you can get your kind of anxiety, your fears a bit kind of, I don't know if you would say under control, but kind of not overwhelm you, and normalize it a bit more, and find out that, for example, there was one lady, she in her 50s, she woke up and she was totally blind, and she had a stroke in the night, and she was so glad she didn't die. And but it took her like 2 years to go in a taxi alone with a strange driver, and to go somewhere. And it's true that your whole life changes, but you still have a life, and it's kind of going through that whole process that it takes time, it takes courage. You have to be brave as well. You have to try and be positive and sort of, I suppose in some way, I always talk to myself. I say, well, look, there's people in worse situations than you. You have a life, and you have a job, you have a husband, you have, and sort of trying to kind of reason with yourself, and not let yourself kind of overwhelmed by negativity or anxiety, and you have to work at it. You have to work at it.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Is there any other questions at all? Or you can type it in the chat bar if you. Oh, Mamli wants to ask.
Yeah. If I didn't have facility to wear maybe the special adapted glasses, so how the partially impaired vision looks like, and I was in the darkest part of Africa, I want to know how a blind person sees through the blindness, maybe partially impaired. Can I use a time factor, like if it's 7 o'clock with no street lights and you have this light from the skies? I'm trying to explain what I mean. That sort of vision, that sort of way things look.
Yeah. No, do you wear glasses yourself?
Yeah, I do.
You do. Okay. So if you, the difficult thing is that all kind of eye condition will make you see the world in different ways. So for example, if you had a stroke, you would need to take 2 bits of cardboard and maybe put one on half of your right glass, your right lens, and one on half of your left one. So you would only be able to see what's on your right side. That will give you an idea of what somebody with a stroke sees. If you had glaucoma, if you imagine a bit of black paint and you would just splatter it on your glasses and you put them on and you see the world with little black spots all over the place, but you can only see in between, that gives you an idea of a different eye condition. For example, macular degeneration, if you put a bit of oil in the middle of your glass so you couldn't see through really, it would be all smudgy, that would give you an idea of what somebody with macula has. So different eye conditions will make you see the world in different ways. If you have, for example, retinosis pigmentosa and also glaucoma, if you took black paint and painted the edges of your glasses just to leave 2 little holes in the middle, that will give you an idea of what those people see. So it's very different depending on the condition you have.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So if you had, for example, cataracts, if you put some oil on your glasses, everything will be just fuzzy. But you could see if it's light or dark, you could see a bright light, but you wouldn't see much details.
Thanks.
Okay, would you like me to lead you with a few eye yoga exercises?
Oh, okay.
Would you like to try some?
Yes, please.
Okay, excellent, let's do it. So when you are concentrating on something, like you're watching television or you're watching a computer screen, or you're reading, your eyes are kind of concentrating, and often you forget to blink because you're kind of straining your eyes a little bit. You want to see, you're reading, and you're all around your eyes. Your muscles are tensing, and as you get older as well, your eyes don't blink so much. So each time you blink, it kind of it moisturizes the eyes, it cleans the eye, the lens, and it's really healthy for your eye to blink. So one of the things you can do to rest your eyes, to give your eyes a bit of a break, and if you have tendency to have a bit of dry eye, that can help as well, and especially with spring coming and people may be suffering a bit from hay fever and all the pollen, the dust in the air. It's really good to get your eyes to blink more. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly blink our eyes for 10 times. So you close your eyes and you open them. So we'll do that for 10 times, okay, all together. So close, open, 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 close, open. Last time, close, open. So those are slow 10 blinks. Now we're going to blink a little bit faster. Again, 10 times. Close, open, 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 close, open. So that's a medium speed. And now we're going to go blink, 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 blink. So kind of a really fast blink, okay? Let's go. Blink, 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 and stop. So what you want to do is to blink slowly, then medium, and then really fast. And what's amazing is that because blinking is kind of a natural movement of your eye, it will soon just stop blinking faster again. So you just need to do this exercise, you know, I think you just need to do it 2 or 3 times a day for 2 or 3 days, and then your eyes have got back to blinking the fast speed they need to blink at to keep your eyes nice and moist and clean and healthy. So that's a really good one to do, blink in your eyes. So another one we're going to do, we're going to think of all around our eyes. So so if you have glasses, just put them to the side. If you have contact lenses, that's fine. We're not going to do anything in the eyes. If you have long nails, just be careful not to scratch your eyes, okay? So if you take your thumb and your index finger and you're just going to go on your eyebrows over your eyes, and you're just going to pinch there because it can get very tense. So we're just going to pinch gently and let go. Pinch and let go. So just pinch your eyebrows, let go. Pinch your eyebrows, let go. A nice good squeeze, pinch your eyebrows and let go. Excellent. Now we're going to take our pointers and our middle fingers. We're going to put our fingers on the side of your face. So not on your eyes, just on your temples. So level with your eyes, but on the side of your head. And we're going to do little circles. And sometimes people do that if they have a bit of a migraine, a bit of a headache. So if we're going to circle one way, so circle, 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 circle. Now circle the other way round. Circle, 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 and stop. Excellent. Now, very carefully with your thumb and your index finger, you're going to pinch the top of your nose. So between your eyebrows, and we're going to squeeze and let go. Just be careful not to scratch yourself. Squeeze, let go. Squeeze the top of your nose, let go. Squeeze, let go, and squeeze, let go. Excellent. Now with our hands, we're going to cup our hands, so not flat. We don't want to press our eyeballs, so like cups, and you're going to put it all around you're going to cup your eyes, and you're going to do little circles. So your fingers are circling on your forehead, the side of your hand on the side of your face, and the bottom of your hand is going to be on your top of your cheeks. So you kind of do a cup over your eyes and little circles, and it's just to massage the skin, the face muscles all around, and it should feel like, close your eyes and it should feel nice and relaxing. Go round and round and relax. How did that feel?
Nice.
Brilliant.
So they're easy little, a bit of self-care, a little bit of massage for yourself. Now, another thing that happens is that when we are always looking at the screen, looking at reading a book or looking at television, our eyes are kind of going a bit side to side, but they're not going far away and close away. And when you look far away and you look close, your eye changes the lens of the eyes, and that movement is really good to keep going. So if you find that you've been reading for a long time and your eyes need a bit of a rest, what's really good is to look at something far away and then look at something close. Look at something far away and try and focus, try and see something over there, and then look at something close. So your eyes get to go far away and close. So let's do that 5 times. So put your glasses back on if you have glasses, and find a point that's maybe maybe even out of your window, or more than 10 meters, you know, kind of in the distance, and you try and see that thing, and then look at your nail on your thumb. So it's kind of close. Look far away and look at your nail, and look far away and look at your nail, and look far away and look at your nail. Excellent. Now we're going to move our eyes. So that's moving your eyes the distance, far away and close up. Now we're just going to move, we're going to try and keep our heads nice and still. So try not to move your face. And if you want to, you can hold it with your hands, but you don't have to. And we're just going to look up to the ceiling, but only your eyes, and look down to the floor. You probably see your nose, but don't move your face. Keep your face nice and straight. So eyes looking up and down and up and down and up and down. And now we're going to move sideways to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, and relax. Excellent. So it's good to do a bit of that, looking up and down, looking side to side. Those are really good exercises to do. Now, another one to do is to, is to actually make your eyes go cross-eyed and relax. So you put a finger in front of you. I'll show it maybe sideways. You put a finger and you look at your finger, and then you bring your finger close, close, close to your nose. You might see 2 fingers, and then bring your finger out again. Bring your finger, so always follow your finger, the tip of your finger to your nose. Might make you a bit cross-eyed, and then follow your finger going away. And close up to your nose, and then follow your finger going away. Excellent. So that's also really good exercise for your eyes, to go really up close and then just a little bit away.
Thank you so much,
So
Odette.
these are the
Thank you. That's been brilliant
for you today.
Oh,
And
that's been brilliant.
nice. And the exercises you can do, you know, if you're kind of waiting around, and if you're feeling a bit stressed around your eyes, they're always good to do.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome.
So with 2 minutes to spare, I'm just going to go quickly through our events and stuff before we close.
Okay.
So I think most of you guys have been to our events before. So if you haven't, or if you don't know about it, so we've got lots and lots of events happening on a weekly basis. Please do have a look at our website, which is arccltd.com. So there's also the next one for Here to Talk. We've started rolling out our free mental health first aid courses for people in the community and organisations within Croydon. The first one was early March, and we now have 10 qualified mental health first aider, which Husna is one of them. So congratulations, Husna. Thank you. And please do have a look on our YouTube channel to see the feedback by the attendees. It was a brilliant, brilliant session. The course usually costs around £300 per person. So if you do want to take advantage of this for free, please do let me know. We're currently looking at the end of May for our next course. So it is a 2-day course, and attendance on both days is mandatory. So we'll be in touch with our next Here to Talk event real soon, probably towards the end of April. Until then, stay safe and look after each other. You know, thank you again so much for joining us. It's been absolutely amazing. Thank you. And please do spread the word about Croydon Vision, and how Odette's event has been really, really powerful today, I think. And contact Odette if you need anything at Croydon Vision. And I
Yeah.
believe this is a bit of a plug for they're having a gala dinner, I believe, Odette.
We are, yes.
And
Um,
please do go and join if you can. It's on the, I want to say 8th of April. Is
It
that right?
is, yes, Friday the 8th of April. We still have some tables available. It is a fundraising event as well. So yeah, contact us, have a look on the website.
So brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Have an
Thank you.
amazing day ahead. Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye-bye.
day.
Bye.